Oh, it's a nice one. Holy crap. Let's go. First one. Senko. Weightless Senko, just fishing up shallow. It's a nice 2.5. That's probably 2.5 pounder right there. Let's go. Let's go. Yep. Not that big. Here we go. It's a nice little guy. Same weightless Texas rig Senko. Here we go. Right now we're just fishing up against the bank and Dad is hooked up. Pike. Right now we're just fishing, we're just casting along against the bank with Senkos. He's wacky rigging his. I'm Texas rigging his. Both of them seem to be working. I have 2. This is Dad's first. Hopefully we can put a few more on the board. Right now we're just working the shoreline. I mean, this is our 3rd fish already. Hopefully we can stick a few more. Stay tuned. Here we go. Oh no, don't break my line, don't break it. Now I'm gonna grab him just so he doesn't break my line. Okay, he's, yeah. Good. There we go. Little pike here. About probably 20 inches, 22-ish probably. There he goes. All I'm doing here is just a Texas rig. Put the nose of the hook until the worm hits the bend, and then poke through. Bring it all the way up, and then twist when you hit that knob. Bring it all the way past the eye of the hook so you can't see anything, just straight line. And then put your thumb where the end of the hook ends so you can bend the bait and put it through so you know where it comes. And then that's a straight Texas rig hook. And if you want a weedless, just dig that tip in. There. Weedless Texas rig. So I'm on number 3. 3 for me. 1 for Dad. 2 pike, 2 bass. Hopefully we can catch some more. Nope. Just this really small bass. I was just reeling in my bait and he came up and hit it. I didn't even set the hook. And it's just a little baby bass. Right there. There we go. Same Texas rig Senko right here. Weedless. Dad just broke off on a pike, as you guys saw. So right now, that fish just ripped the top of my Senko. So I don't want to throw this away yet. I know I can get another use out of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bite off the tip. I'll show you. Bite off where it ripped. So now it's flat again. And then to me, it's a whole new, brand new bait. So you re-rig it. Stick the tip in until you get the curve and then poke it through, and then all the way up, and then you hit that little turn right there on the hook, go up to it and then twist the bait, and the hook all the way past the eye. And then you want to see where that bend of that hook is. Put it up against the lure. I put my thumbnail there, and then I bend the bait and stick it through. And then I tuck her in so it's weedless. And then boom. There's a straight, weightless Senko. Right now we're staying in this little bay area because Dad's broke up on a pike. I caught a bass and a pike, all in just this tiny little bay right here. I don't like so. Oh. I watched him eat that. I watched him come up and eat that. That was so cool. And I'm recording, so hopefully I got that. Oh, that was cool. And this little pike just came up and ate my Senko. Yeah. That's why I didn't really set the hook into him. So I didn't know how deep the bait got. Oh, that was cool. Oh yeah, I do. Another small one. You didn't set the hook on that. You see that? I don't know. Is it a small one? Oh, this might not be a small one. Oh my gosh. That's a nice one. Choked it. Absolute. That's a toad. There we go. That's 3 pounds all day. Let's go. Just on the same exact rig. Here's a fish. It's a bluegill. Or look at that thing.
Nice. Oh, that's a egg.
Almost big of a hook.
You know where to go for bluegill.
Jeez. Bigger than my hand. Big as my hand. It's beautiful too. Alright, wow.
How come I'm not getting any?
Alright guys, I'm sitting here in my bed and I realized that somehow, in some way, that my GoPro went mute, and the rest of the video is going to be me talking, a voiceover. It kind of sucks. I'd never even realized it at this point. I went in for a lunch break, came back out, and I just caught this nice bass. And I'm using a Ned rig, a black and blue Ned rig, and I'm just fishing over some of these rocks right here, as I'm pointing to. I know my boat is really messy, and I end up cleaning it. But right here, I was saying how I love Ned rigs. They'll catch any fish. I just keep them, bouncing them off these rocks, and to see if I catch any. And I did. I caught a couple, as you'll see up next. And the wind is really not the best at all, and which really sucks. Sucked, but since I lost the the voice, like the volume on it, kind of sucks. So I'm just casting over a bunch of these rocks, and nothing's happening too much. But I end up catching some, and I'm hooked up again. I missed him. It's hard to control the boat, so sorry if I keep bending over trying. I don't have a foot pedal, it's just a handle for my trolling motor. That's why I always bend down and reach. So here, I'm still on these rocks. I'm getting closer to docks, and the fish were moving up to shade and out deep. They're either moving underneath these docks, and they're moving out deeper because the sun was full out and there was no clouds. I just took this long cast up against these rocks, and I end up hooking up. I'm just still bouncing this black and blue Ned rig on the bottom, and still complaining about how windy it was, because I can't steer my boat. And I end up catching like this 12-inch crappie that was really cool. These Ned rigs, I love Ned rigs. I can catch a lot of fish with them. I end up catching a pike in a little bit that you guys will see. But I love these Ned rigs. They're like a multi-species fishing bait that I love to use. I will bring Ned rigs everywhere, and that's pretty much it. There was the release, and now I'm like, let's get back to fishing. Alright, so here's the Ned rig I'm using. It's not really even in frame for this first part, but you can see how stretchy it is, this material. I love it. It's very durable. Really, really, really durable. They put a lot of salt in it, which when the fish bites it, they like the taste of it, so I want to stay on longer. They're really hard to break. You can catch multiple fish with one bait rather than, like, say, I'm not hating on any of these baits, but rather say like a Googan bait, like a rattling Ned, you can catch like 2, 3, 4 fish if you're lucky on one, and then they start to fall apart. These baits, Z-Man Ned rigs, love them. They're really durable, and I'm going to continue using them. And yes, I do still have Googan baits, rattling Neds in my tackle box. I love those too. It just depends what you're using and which for. Alright guys, I know the voice quality is not too good. I'm doing this with a MacBook. It doesn't have any audio. It's just crap. But here I hook up into a nice fish. Really nice fish. He ends up pulling drag right there. And right there, I go down to change motor. I let slack and he gets off. I was messing with the motor when he got on, and then I put slack in my line, and he just, like that, he just popped off. Right now I'm just fishing around these docks, and I'm still casting up against the shore with the exact same bait. Alright guys, I'm still in between these docks, and I'm hooked up. I think I changed baits again. I changed up to a yellow and like a red on top, reddish black. It's really dark on top, and it's a lower profile. It's smaller. I think 2.5 inches, 3 inches. Yeah, I think it's 3 inch. I just hooked up into the small pike. As you can see, that bait right there. Some of these fish up there are kind of not the smartest, and they'll go after a different bait, even though that I just missed them. So I missed a fish, and I don't know if that was the same fish, but I hooked up into that fish. My buddy went up, and that's all he used. and he caught a bunch on that exact color. So that did good for me. Here again, I'm messing with that motor, can't keep him straight. My boat is a mess. I did pick it up, I think, in this next clip. But right here, it's made out of the same material as Z-Man, just a 3-inch, and it's got like a darker yellow mixed with black and red flake. And I'm changing up into this watermelon color. How I rig this is I just slide it on until the point where I feel it's good. Sometimes I end up short, sometimes I end up long, so I just adjust it. I'm not doing anything fancy, nothing weedless, nothing like that. I just thread it on the hook in one motion, and that's basically it. I still have the hook showing, and it seems to work, and that's the way the hook is designed. You can get Ned rig hooks where you can get it weedless, where it has that little joint up at the top where you twist your bait just like a Texas rig. I think they just came off those, but I don't have any of those yet, and I'm not fishing in weeds right now, so it ended up working good. Caught a bunch of fish. Right now I'm just fishing by this one dock right here, skipping around it, casting up by it. I ended up hitting one of those pontoons, but I didn't get that on film. Right here I just hooked up. I'm just past the dock, still fishing on some rocks. I hook them into this nice little bass. It's a fun fight. They fish. They don't have that much cover, so their backs are really dark and their bellies are more gold than normal. As you can see, this fish in a second, using this Ned rig, he choked this bait. It was way down. Took me a second to get the hook out, but I ended up getting it out with a good release. I'm just starting to get that Ned rig hook out. There it is. Just a small bass. As you can see, their backs are really dark. Good release. Alright, so at this point I changed up baits. It's still a Ned rig, but it's a little bit different color. It's the same size even. I think it's 4 inches. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's still Z-Man bait, and it's like a watermelon color. I changed it up from the watermelon to black and blue up to a watermelon color. It has like green with red flakes. This also worked. It caught, I think, like 2 fish on it, but for such a small bank, it was actually pretty good. And I'll show you guys right now with this bait right there. It has a little bit darker top. It's not black, but it's really dark green. It's just a little bit different. I'm not sure what color it is, but that's what I changed up to. I also started talking about how my line is a high visibility. I think it's 10 or 12 pound braid, Sufix braid, and I connected that up to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I love using high visibility line. You can see it. You can see it really well, like in different conditions. You can see if a fish is like taking it, going left to right. That's what I usually use it for. So I smallmouth fish with this rod too, and a lot of times they'll pick it up right off the bottom on a pause or something, and you'll see your line going left or right, and then you know you have a fish on. I love using it for that, but all in all, it's really helpful using high visibility line. Hooked up, nice one. Not that bad of one. I watched him eat it. My bait was near the surface and he just came up and smoked it right off of that log. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right off of that log. Right there. Nice little guy right here. Here we go. Alright guys, so all what I'm doing here is I am just using a simple Texas rig Senko here. I changed up the color to one side's white, one side's like it's like a lighter green pumpkin. I hope you guys can hear me. My back is facing towards the wind, but if I turn into it, I don't know if you guys can or can't hear me. But what I'm doing is I'm just bombing it up right next to shore, and then I'm just giving it smaller pops just to get that back and forth action that a weightless Texas rig Senko made to do. It's really triggering these fish, and they seem to be liking more of the green pumpkin, watermelon, that kind of color. And I'm just working it all the way back to the boat, just smaller pops, pop, 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 pop. These fish aren't really on a pattern, like on a cadence, so I'm just kind of doing all different. But that's pretty much all I'm doing with this bait is I'm just bombing up on shore and then giving it pops. Oh, that's a good one. I just got a good fish on. It's a solid fish. Oh my gosh. Solid fish right here. There we go. Right there. That's a solid fish. Probably he felt a lot bigger fighting, but that's still probably 2.5 probably. That's solid 2.5 pound fish right there. Sorry, I wasn't holding it low enough. Right there, 2.5 pound fish. There you go. Man, that felt a lot bigger when I set the hook into him. I thought that was a 4-pounder. Just Texas rigging that Senko. Oh, here's another one. Oh, you guys. He wrapped me on a log. I don't know if he's still on there or not. That was definitely a fish on there. Next cast. You guys, he got off. Oh, that was another good fish. Here's a fish. He's back on. No way. No way. He came back for it. It's because it's a pike. He actually came back for that though. I definitely got that on camera. He hit it. I missed the hook set. Probably pulled it out of his mouth. He probably only had the tail. And then he came back and hit it again. Just like a small pike. Alright guys, I know the lighting is bad. I'm in my cabin. It's dark out now. I had a great day of fishing. We caught quite a few actually. The bass and northern, they moved up. We fished opening weekend and then second weekend. Didn't catch any. I think we only caught like 2. But they were still out deep and the water was colder and the weather was really inconsistent. Well, with about 2 weeks of consistent weather, they finally moved up and they started getting more active, and so we caught more. It was a really fun time. I had a good time with my dog and my dad. More videos will be out soon. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.